Let's be honest. The best feeling in the world isn't falling in love or getting a promotion. It is sending that text saying, "So sorry, I can't make it tonight," and immediately collapsing onto your couch in your pajamas. That wave of pure relief, it feels like self-care. But biologically, it is a dangerous trap. Every time you dodge a crowded event, you are not just relaxing. You are accidentally training your brain to view the outside world as a lethal threat. You aren't just being introverted, you are feeding a psychological mechanism called the fear loop. If you have ever felt that addictive relief only to realize your world is getting smaller every day, comment the number 1 down below. We are going to deconstruct this trap together so you can take your control back. Here is the reality. You are not socially broken. You are biologically high definition. Scientific research refers to this as sensory processing sensitivity. Think of the average brain like a smartphone with a really aggressive spam filter. When a typical person walks into a crowded room, their brain automatically deletes 90% of the input. They don't hear the humming of the refrigerator, they don't notice the flickering light bulb, and they don't analyze the micro expressions on a stranger's face. Your brain, however, has no spam filter. You are recording life in uncompressed 8K resolution. You process every sound, every smell, and every emotional shift in the room simultaneously. Biologically, this leads to a system crash. When your central nervous system gets flooded with more data than it can process, your ancient survival brain, the reptilian brain, hijacks the steering wheel. It doesn't know you are just at a loud birthday party. It perceives the sensory chaos as a life or death threat, similar to being cornered by a predator. This triggers the freeze or flight response. Your heart races, your thoughts fog up, and you feel a desperate need to escape. This isn't anxiety in the traditional sense. It is your biology trying to save you from a threat that isn't actually there. But here is the problem. Your brain can't tell the difference between uncomfortable and unsafe. And that confusion is exactly what sets the stage for the chemical trap we are about to discuss. This is where the situation gets tricky. When your brain screams danger and you decide to cancel your plans to stay home, something immediate happens. Your anxiety drops from a 10 to a 0 in seconds. A wave of calm washes over you. Neuroscientists call this negative reinforcement. In psychology, reinforcement doesn't just mean getting a cookie for doing something good. It also means removing something bad. When you avoid the crowd, you remove the distress. Your amygdala, the brain's alarm system, takes a snapshot of that relief and learns a powerful, incorrect lesson. The world is dangerous, and avoidance is the only way to survive. If you are following along and you are fascinated by decoding your own operating system, drop the number 3 inches the comments right now. It tells me you are committed to understanding yourself deeper than the average person. Here is the cost of that relief. By repeatedly rewarding your brain for hiding, you are inadvertently training your amygdala to be more sensitive. The next time you get an invitation, the alarm won't just ring, it will scream. Simultaneously, your prefrontal cortex, the logical part of your brain that knows a dinner party isn't actually lethal, begins to lose its authority. It is like a muscle. If you don't use your logic to override your fear, that muscle atrophies. Eventually, you stop making decisions based on what you want to do and start making decisions solely based on what keeps the alarm bell quiet. This chemical cycle is what builds the invisible prison we are going to explore next. The real tragedy of this chemical loop isn't that you miss a party or a networking event. It is the silent, gradual shrinking of your entire existence. This is where biology impacts biography. It starts innocently. First, you skip the loud concert. Reasonable. Then, you skip the intimate dinner because you are too tired. Understandable. But slowly, the boundary moves closer. Suddenly, the grocery store feels overwhelming. Then, making a phone call feels impossible. Your comfort zone, which was meant to be a sanctuary, transforms into a confinement zone. Let's pause for a quick focus check. I want to see who is truly engaging with this concept versus who is just passively scrolling. If you are finding value in this analysis, comment the number 0 below to show you are present. If you don't like what you are hearing, hit the like button. Either way, make a conscious choice right now. Breaking passivity starts with small actions. This shrinking world leads to a profound psychological deficit, the loss of agency. Agency is the feeling that you are the captain of your own ship. When the fear loop takes over, you are no longer making choices. Your anxiety is making them for you. You need to ask yourself a hard question. Are you staying home because you genuinely love your own company, or because you are terrified of what is outside? There is a massive difference between solitude and isolation. Solitude is restorative. It is a choice you make to recharge. Isolation is draining. It is a choice made for you by fear. If you don't reclaim that agency, the walls will keep closing in. But don't worry, there is a way to break the lock without fighting your own biology. So, how do we break out of this prison? The standard advice is to face your fears and throw yourself into the deep end. For a highly sensitive person, that is terrible advice. That is like trying to fix a computer virus by smashing the keyboard. It just causes more trauma. Instead, we are going to use a strategy based on neuroscience. I call it social microdosing. The goal is not to become an extrovert overnight. The goal is to create what scientists call a prediction error in your brain. Right now, your amygdala predicts that going out equals danger. We need to prove it wrong, but in small, manageable doses that don't trigger a meltdown. Here is the protocol. Go to a moderately busy place, like a bookstore or a coffee shop. But here is the trick. Give yourself full permission to engage with absolutely no one. Wear your noise-canceling headphones. Create a safety bubble. Commit to staying for just 15 minutes, not an hour. 15 minutes. And this is the most important part. Leave before you feel drained. Usually, you stay until you crash, so your brain remembers the exhaustion. By leaving while you are still okay, you interrupt the negative reinforcement cycle. You are giving your brain a new data point. I went out, I felt the energy, and I survived without a scratch. You are essentially performing a software update on your nervous system. You are teaching your amygdala that discomfort is not the same as danger. You are not trying to enjoy the crowd yet. You are just recalibrating your sensors. It is not about changing who you are. It is about expanding where you can go. Ultimately, the goal isn't to fix your personality. There is nothing wrong with preferring a quiet Friday night over a chaotic club. The problem only exists when your sanctuary becomes a cell. We have explored the biology of your sensitivity and the chemistry of the fear loop. Now you know that your brain isn't broken, it is just overprotective. You have the hardware of a deep thinker and the sensitivity of an observer. That is a gift. But gifts are meant to be used, not hidden behind a wall of anxiety. By practicing social microdosing, you are not betraying your introversion. You are simply ensuring that when you stay home, it is because you truly want to, not because you are afraid to leave. Your peace should be a preference, not a panic room. Reclaim your agency. Start small, go out for 5 minutes, keep your headphones on, and prove to your brain that you are safe. If you are ready to master your psychology instead of being ruled by it, hit that subscribe button. Let's expand your world, one small step at a time.